Welcome back to Over 50 and Flourishing. I'm your host, Dominique Sachse, and today, boy, do we have a great guest who's here to talk about one of my favorite topics, style, fashion, and confidence, especially as our bodies and our lives change in midlife. Joining us today is Angela Foster. She is a fashion and a beauty expert with more than 20 years of experience helping women shine. Angela is here to share her insights on dressing gracefully as your body changes, why baggy clothes do not hide the flaws like we think they do, and how to build confidence by embracing your unique shape. We're also going to dive into her tips on tweaking your style and her sensible approach to it so you don't feel overwhelmed. So whether you're looking into maybe rediscovering your style or you just need that extra boost of confidence, you, my dear, are in the right place. Get ready for an inspiring conversation with Angela Foster. As you know, I've been a journalist for more than 30 years now, and the skepticism when it comes to looking into stories has served me well. That really holds true when it comes to supplements. You know, I believe you can't get all the nutrients you need from the food supply alone, so you do need a supplement, but how do you know which ones? Are they safe? Do they have inside what they say they have? That's why I use Ritual. Their Essential for Women 50 Plus multivitamin has high quality, traceable key ingredients in clean, bioavailable forms. Hey, no more shady business here. Ritual's Essential for Women 50 Plus is a multivitamin you can actually trust. Get 25% off your first month for a limited time at ritual.com/over50. Start Ritual or add Essential for Women 18 Plus to your subscription today. That's ritual.com/over50 for 25% off. This episode brought to you by iRestore, the clinically proven advanced hair growth system designed for women who want to say adios to thinning hair and hello volume. With the iRestore Elite, you can sit back, relax, binge watch your favorite show while it works. It's science-backed magic on your scalp to grow thicker, healthier hair naturally. Results in just 3 months, no drugs, no surgeries, just the most advanced technology for incredible results. So are you ready to get medical grade red light treatment at home to regrow your hair? For a limited time only, our listeners get $625 off their order when you use code OVER50 at irestorelaser.com. That's your order at irestorelaser.com with promo code OVER50. Hair loss is frustrating. You don't have to fight it alone thanks to iRestore. You know I love to buy my higher end handbags resale. I want to make sure they're in really good shape and they're good quality. And a big part of maintaining that is keeping the leather top notch. Well, I just discovered Curate. It is the ultimate solution for protecting and preserving my purse collection to make sure they stay beautiful and can last forever. There's a limited supply available, so head to mycurate.com to get your leather care kit today. That's mycurate.com. The best way to make your handbags last forever. Hey, Angela, it is so good to have you on Over 50 and Flourishing. I want my ladies to flourish in all ways. And do you know what? I think you are my first style expert. How do you like them apples?
That is amazing. I'm so excited to be here and honored now to be the first.
That's true. Okay, so we're gonna set the bar high with you. And one thing, just to kind of start off, because I love to ask people. I mean, this podcast is about flourishing in every way, and so I love to kind of chip away and ask you personally. You know, how do you plan on flourishing this week? How do you see yourself doing that?
Oh my gosh, what a great question. For me, it's all about my clients. And I have several clients who have this, this is a busy season right now between conferences and speaking engagements and all of that. And the most exciting thing for me is to see them excited to go, excited about what they're wearing. Right. When I wake up in the morning and I have emails in my inbox of mirror selfies, like leaving the hotel room, this is what I'm wearing. It turned out even better than I thought. That is the best feeling in the world. So yes.
You flourish through others then.
Yes. I like to think so. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a great act of service, and I think oftentimes that's what we're called to do, no matter what it is that we're doing. And it's generally what brings us the most joy is seeing it in others. So I love that. I love
Yes.
that. And as we leave this podcast today, I will be thinking of you in servitude of others and feeling full and blessed from that. So that's
Yes.
beautiful, Angela. Thank you.
Yeah.
It really is so powerful, this notion of presentation. And I talk about it quite a lot on my platform. And it's not just, people always say, well, it's superficial. And, why so much focused on the outside? And I've always used the outside approach sometimes to getting in. And sometimes when you start working on that, you can reach deeper levels internally. And so I'm curious as to your approach to that and why you think style, presentation, confidence, what it all leads to. Why is it so important to you?
I love this question so much. And yes, there are people who think it's not important, that the energy should be spent someplace else. So there's a couple things there. We've all watched women walk into a room, and it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a board meeting or a conference or a networking event or whatever. And the women who feel confident stand out and people gravitate towards them. So I disagree with the whole thing that it's superficial and it doesn't matter, because whatever you're doing, whether you're like, the two of us who are coaches and we support women and all of that, or whether you're selling cars or pharmaceuticals or whatever the case may be, that's nothing but good things. When you attract people to you, nothing but good things can happen. And I also think that as we get older, it becomes less about everybody else and more about we get dressed because it's important to us and we know the difference and the impact it makes on our attitude and how we, address the world and what we can go out and conquer and all of that. Maybe when we're younger, it's about, catching a guy or a girl or whoever you're trying to catch. But at our age, I think most of us are past that. Mm-hmm. And now it's all about, how it makes me feel. And that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
So,
and don't you find it to be such a fascinating evolutionary process? I mean,
yes.
I know my style has changed over the years and I've really enjoyed the change. And mm-hmm. What are you noticing in women these days?
Yeah. Completely. The one thing that probably stands out the most is when I first started style coaching, there was a lot of, I want to be age appropriate. I want to make sure that whatever I wear, it's age appropriate. And I don't know the last time I've heard that now, which I love because age appropriate, like that, I don't even know what that means.
What does that mean?
Right? Right. So I hear a lot less of that and a lot more of, I love this feature. I want to accentuate the heck out of it. This outfit makes me feel amazing. I want to wear it every single day. So it really is about, the effect it has on, your confidence, your self-esteem and all of that. So, mm-hmm.
I love that. I'm on the heels of my Greece trip with 23 members of my community, ranging in age from late 40s all the way through 60s. And I'll tell you what, Angela, the one thing that I saw that I loved the most, each woman totally embracing her body, her style. I saw a 60-year-old wearing a halter top. I saw it all. I saw beads and combat boots and dresses. I mean, you name it. And I think that's what it is maybe we've hit this kind of unapologetic point in our lives where it's no longer about rules and dressing to please others, but it's this reflective sense of how do I want to please me and use maybe clothes as an artistic form, as a comfort expression, as a little element of style. I'm seeing an attitude change here and I'm kind of digging it.
Absolutely. But you think about it, and because you and I are about the same age. So, but you think about it like when I was 30 and my mom was turning 50 and I thought she was 1,000 years old. I was like, well, you might as well just right. You know what I mean? I'm like, you might as well just chuck it in now and forget about it. Yeah. But then, and I can't remember what year it was. It might have been 2007. Maybe it was, but it was right around that time. And Sandra Bullock was on the cover of People magazine, and she had been voted the sexiest woman in the world, and she was 50. So you just think about what that does to when you and I turn 50, then all of a sudden it's like, heck, we're younger than her, and she was the sexiest woman in the world.
Right.
Like, I mean, like, it's only going to get better from here. So yeah, attitudes have absolutely changed a lot. I mean, like, we all have to say, like, 50 now doesn't look like 50 used to. So.
No. Not by a long shot.
Right.
And that's the amazing thing is that, whatever it looks like, we have embraced, first of all, I think we've embraced aging far more than our mothers did. There was this sort of, okay, at some point we cover up. I mean, I remember my mom saying, I can't wear shorts and I can't wear shorts, or I can't wear short skirts. I don't have the legs for it anymore.
Right.
Well, says who?
Right.
Says who?
Yes.
It kind of befuddled me. I was so surprised. My mom, who was like, so put it out there, and she would in some ways, had certain limitations on herself in other ways. And so I think it's interesting that those are kind of falling by the wayside. And you're right. Today's 50 something and 60 something isn't what yesterday's used to be. So finally, I think we're getting to that point, right, where we're saying, okay, we're going to open it up. And now we're going to do it. And what I want to hear from you is, okay, well, how do I define how I do this? Because maybe some women are saying, all right, I feel ready to embrace something new and different. How do I go there? What's me in terms of style?
I love that so much. And one of the things I think about this a lot, because a lot of my clients are in that 40s, 50s range. And so a couple things, we know ourselves so much better than we did when we were 20. So while there are things that might make, I wish I had my 20-year-old boobs, but I'm so happy that, where I'm at and how comfortable I am with myself. And I think that goes across the board with my clients. They're all just comfortable with who they are and where they're at. So when I work with a new client for the first time, body shape is the very first thing that we address, because that's where it all starts. Right. Not only confidence and self-esteem, but knowing what to buy, what not to buy, what to purge from your closet, and all of that. So that's a critical step right there. And when I first started style coaching, there was a lot of, I'm an apple body shape, and my boobs are too big and my shoulders are too broad. It was always, this is what I am and this is why it's bad. And so after a few clients going through this, I'm like, this is not any fun. It's not fun for them. It's not fun for me to listen to, like, you know what I mean? I'm trying to pump them up and we're going backwards. So what we do, first of all, is to pick your very favorite feature. Whatever that is, whether it's your bust or your legs or your waist or your bum, whatever that is. And the very first thing that we do is, okay, so here are some ways we can accentuate it so that every single day when you walk out of the house, you're like, my legs look amazing, or my bust looks amazing, or whatever your favorite feature is. And then we go from there. So that's not to say that, and especially, when you get to that, late 40s, 60s, that we don't get, like a little extra in the middle, or our arms aren't quite as toned, or, our thighs aren't quite as firm, or whatever the situation is. That's not to say that we don't talk about how to camouflage things that we don't love. It's just not our first focus. Our very first focus is, what do we love the most? And how am I going to emphasize that every single day when I get dressed?
Yeah, I love that, Angela. And, we women can be so incredibly hard on ourselves. I mean, we can say, well, I used to have this, or I used to have great arms, but they're getting flabby, or the skin's getting crepey, or I used to have, how do you get women to break away from the used tos and say, I do have, these are my assets, and maybe it's something else, maybe it's a shift, but how do you help women identify that and to stop beating themselves up?
Yep. So that's a constant process for all of us, right? Like, we all have those days where we're like, oh my gosh, I feel bloated or whatever. So it's a constant revisiting of it. But reinforcing, as I work with clients, reinforcing this is your favorite feature. How are we going to emphasize it today? And just revisiting it. I think it's like every other habit. It takes, 28 days, or depending upon who you are, to really concrete. Depending upon how stubborn you are. Yes, it can take longer, it can take shorter, but just always revisiting that and making sure that that's our first focus, and then going from there. And I can't tell you how many clients, like feedback forms and testimonials and things that I have, that they're like, I will never call myself an apple again. And I'm so excited to accentuate my bum. Like, I can't. I mean, so it does happen, but just like anything else, it doesn't happen overnight. And you just always have to reinforce it.
It's a process.
Yeah.
Is what I'm hearing.
Yes. I really try to avoid that. It's a mindset thing. So
It
yeah.
is. Okay. So you know what, Angela, you know what I want to do? We're going to take a real quick break and thank our sponsors so that people can enjoy this content for free. But on the backside of this break, for anybody who's watching and listening right now, I want you to help them identify what's their best feature. How do you do that? And we're going to tackle that right after this. As you know, I've been a journalist for more than 30 years now, and the skepticism when it comes to looking into stories has served me well. That really holds true when it comes to supplements. You know, I believe you can't get all the nutrients you need from the food supply alone, so you do need a supplement, but how do you know which ones? Are they safe? Do they have inside what they say they have? That's why I use Ritual. Their Essential for Women 50 Plus multivitamin has high quality, traceable key ingredients in clean, bioavailable forms. It takes the guesswork out of it. Not only do I like their Women for 50 Plus because I'm making sure I'm checking all the boxes, their Symbiotic for gut health is fantastic. It also has this wonderful minty essence so you don't, let's say, burp up, the unpleasant flavors. This is a company that is female founded. It's a B Corp. It means that they are holding themselves accountable to not just their company's financial health, but also the health of people and our planet. Hey, no more shady business here. Ritual's Essential for Women 50 Plus is a multivitamin you can actually trust. Get 25% off your first month for a limited time at ritual.com/over50. Start Ritual or add Essential for Women 18 Plus to your subscription today. That's ritual.com/over50 for 25% off. This episode brought to you by iRestore, the clinically proven advanced hair growth system designed for women who want to say adios to thinning hair and hello volume. With the iRestore Elite, you can sit back, relax, binge watch your favorite show while it works. It's science-backed magic on your scalp to grow thicker, healthier hair naturally. Results in just 3 months. No drugs, no surgeries, just the most advanced technology for incredible results. When I talk about technology, I do mean 500 lasers and LEDs that ensure every inch of your scalp receives the light energy needed to stimulate cellular activity, boost blood flow, reduce inflammation. All of those are crucial elements in reversing hair loss. So are you ready to get medical grade red light treatment at home to regrow your hair? For a limited time only, our listeners get $625 off their order when you use code OVER50 at irestorelaser.com. That's your order at irestorelaser.com with promo code OVER50. Hair loss is frustrating. You don't have to fight it alone thanks to iRestore. Welcome back. My guest today is Angela Foster. She is a beauty and fashion expert with more than 20 years of experience under her fashionista belt. And we are talking about identifying our best features so we know how to dress to it. So we're going to start with that, Angela. We're wiping this chalkboard clean, and now we have to face ourselves in the mirror, I guess, or I don't know, maybe you've got a better way of going about this. How do we identify what's our best feature?
Yes.
Or features?
Yes, absolutely, because that's true. You can definitely have more than one, and I have numerous clients who do. The most women, when I throw out different things, like what is it? What is your best feature? What's your favorite? And all of that, they know right off the bat. It is funny though, because if it's your bust, women do have a tendency to whisper that to me. And I'm like, it's okay. It's not a secret.
Okay, we'll talk about it.
I'm like, I think your bust is amazing too. I think that's great. Yes, absolutely. So usually they'll know if they really do struggle with it. And sometimes if the self-esteem is really, a tough spot. Right. What I'll often say is talk to me about what your favorite outfit is. That one, you have an important meeting, or you have, a first date, or, whatever, dinner with the family. What is it that you're going to gravitate towards? What is it that you're going to wear? And then when we dig into that, we call it the A outfit. Like, what is your A outfit? That one that you always grab when something important is happening. We'll talk about that. And then why do you love it? What is it about it? And that will they'll dig into it, and then they'll realize what their favorite feature is because of that.
Right. Now, it's interesting because we can fall in love with things that don't necessarily flatter us, right? I
Yes.
mean, I found this with my friend Holly when we were cleaning out her closet. I don't know if you saw that YouTube video, but it was classic comic relief. There were more shirts with ruffles that got thrown out than should be allowed by law. And she was cracking up at the end. She goes, I didn't realize what a crutch this was. And
Right.
she was hiding herself. And see,
Yeah,
that's interesting. And that's important to talk about. She was
it is.
hiding herself underneath all of these layers because she didn't feel that what was underneath was worth
Yep.
celebrating. So maybe we
Yes.
gravitate to things that actually don't do anything for us. How do we get past it?
Right. Okay. So there's a couple things there. So, and yes, that's absolutely true. So the first thing is when we're talking about the A outfit,
Mhm.
it doesn't, if they don't know what their favorite feature is, it doesn't necessarily mean it'll be the first thing that comes out of their mouth. But once we dig into it, they'll eventually come to, well, you know what? It really does make my waist look tiny, or it really does, and we'll pull it apart that way. So no, you're absolutely correct. And then yes. So let's talk about, because we all have things in our closet that either don't fit, don't flatter, whatever the situation is. I think that's when it comes to really understanding how to dress for your body shape, because two pieces here. The first one is once you understand the clothes and the styles and the silhouettes that are going to flatter your individual shape, which is not the same as mine, it becomes so much easier to walk away from maybe those default easy styles that you normally would buy because you know it's not going to make the most of what your figure is. So, and I do want to circle back to that, so don't let me forget. When it comes to trying to camouflage using silhouettes instead of to flatter, instead to camouflage, the one thing that I always tell my clients who are, who have a tendency to default to this is, it's like my chemistry professor said, and this is the only thing I remember from chemistry, but volume plus volume equals more volume. So when we put on weights, let's just use the middle example because that's one that a lot of women can empathize with. We think, okay, so we're putting on weight in the middle. So what that means then is I'm going to buy a tunic top that's loose and flows in the attempt to camouflage my center. Well, what happens though is you have natural volume there. And now you add more volume with the style that you just selected. So now that actually makes us look fuller instead of camouflaging. Like we're not fooling anybody. Like that's, it makes us look wider. So then we have to say, so what can we do instead? I still don't want to show off my stomach, but I also don't want to look even bigger than what I am. So then what we'll look at maybe a peplum top, or an empire waist dress, something that still gives us some definition while giving us enough of a flow to camouflage that center section. Now, so let's just talk, because I really want your listeners to walk away with a juicy nugget that they can start implementing tomorrow.
Yeah.
So when it comes to dressing for your body shape, and there's all sorts of different ones. And in fact, I have a quiz that your listeners can take so they can figure out what theirs is and give them some ideas on how to dress for that. Clothes, just like we've all seen those, 18-year-olds on YouTube who have no cheekbones. And then all of a sudden, with a little contour and a little highlight, they have cheekbones you could cut cheese with, so sharp. So it's the exact same thing. They're creating an illusion with some contouring and highlighting. We're creating the illusion of a balanced body shape just by the styles and silhouettes that we choose. Right. So if we're just saying, okay, so I have a small bust and delicate shoulders, and I have full hips and a full bum. So what that means then is I need to add some volume on top so that I create the illusion of a balanced body shape. And so your girlfriend, Holly, so if she has that kind of body shape and she has lots of ruffles and frills and poofy sleeves and, boxy blazers and that type of thing, that's brilliant. That's exactly what she should have. If she doesn't have that body shape, then that's where we're dressing the opposite way of what would be best. Does that help?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. So somewhere, then Angela, somewhere there's got to be a happy medium, right? Because if you're feeling uncomfortable about certain areas and you don't want it too clingy, you can't overdo it with too big, but also you can't underdo it with super clingy, super tight. So how do you strike that balance of creating shape and honoring the size where you are?
Yes. That is such a great question, because let's just reference that delicate shoulders and a small bust. So with that body shape, you could have a size 10 on the bottom and an 8 on the top. It could be very subtle. Like there's not only you see it when you're in your bra and underwear that you actually have that body shape. And then I've worked with clients who wear a 12 on the bottom and a 6 on top. It's much more dramatic, and it's much easier to see that in clothes. So that's where you get to the point of saying, okay, so now not only do I need a top with ruffles or poofy sleeves or something to add some volume on the top, but then I might also need to throw a sweater on. I might also need to throw a boxy blazer on. That's where we really start to fine tune somebody's individual style. On the flip side, then, we want to make sure that we're not adding any additional volume to the bottom. We don't need it there. We just need it on top. So then we'll go through the different styles and silhouettes that are going to be best and the combinations that we can put together like great outfits.
Got it. So the key is to look for balance in how you dress. So if wherever you're smaller, fill it up with some volume. So I guess if you're narrow shouldered, shoulder pads, more structure in the shoulder, and then honoring your slimness from waist down. To create that illusion. I know you work a lot with petite women. And petite women always say, oh, I wish I were taller. I wish I were longer. I want length. What do you and the rule of thumb has always been, well, monochromatic. Monochromatic will make you long, tall, lean, all of that. How do you lean into that without being monochromatic for the rest of your life?
Oh my God. I would suck all the joy out of getting dressed in the morning. Yes.
Right?
Yes, absolutely. I love that. And yes, so 44% of women in the United States are 5'4" and under. So yes, I think a lot of times petites feel kind of like pushed to the side and ignored and all of that, when really there's quite a tribe of short girls. So, like if any of your listeners are short, rest assured there are solutions. Part of the challenge when you're short, to your point, is that we don't have as much vertical real estate. So our mistakes show up a lot more than if we were 6 feet tall. So that's just one thing we have to really dial up proportion and balance and all of that. So in regards to the monochromatic, we always go back to what is your favorite feature. And if she's petite and her legs are her favorite feature, then we're going to wear either flesh colored shoes, or if she wears tights or hose a lot, then her shoes should match her tights and hose. That's going to create that illusion of longer legs and all of that. Pointed toe shoes are like manna from heaven when you're short. Well, they just like, it's like a little arrow. It just makes your legs look good. Like they go on and on and on forever. So there's that. So, and then let's just like dovetail off of that. Proportion is critical. So I have a 1/3, 2/3 rule. For the majority of petites, at least none of the, thousands of women that I've helped have ever said, I wish my legs looked shorter. So the most important thing is after you figure out your body shape and your favorite feature, then proportion is critical. So if you stand up and bend your elbow and put your elbow against your side, that should be where your visible waistline is. That's not to say that's really where your waistline is. Where you're in this scenario, it doesn't matter where your waistline is. That's where we want to create your waistline.
So basically let your arm hang down, and where your elbow hits your waist is where you want to create the waist.
If you bend your elbow here.
Okay.
Just to be really, okay.
Let's see.
Okay, so if you stand up and then
bend it in.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're kind of
an L.
Yep.
Yeah. That's where
it's kind of riding maybe just a little bit higher than the natural, depending.
I was going to say it depends, because then we get into the short-waisted, long-waisted, all of that scenario. But if we, then what that does then is that it makes it look like our legs are from there down to the floor, 2/3 of our height. And that from our waist to the top of our head is 1/3. So if we can make sure that our tops end there, our pants stop there, we have a belt on, those types of things, that will create the most flattering. There's other proportions. This is the most flattering one for short girls.
Well, and one of the biggest trends is high-waisted everything, high-waisted pants, high-waisted skirts. And I thank you, because I'm sorry, all that hip hugger stuff that was going on, I forgot how long ago, it was such a bad memory that I've blocked it. I couldn't stand it. All the women were saying, muffin top, hello, designers, these are for 19-year-olds.
Yes.
So everything started to ride high, and suddenly everybody's legs looked so much longer, and they were more comfortable.
Yes. No, absolutely. The one thing that I'll say, and you don't run into it with skirts as much or even dress pants as much, you do need to be a little bit cautious with denim though,
How
because
so?
if it's high waisted, it can make your butt look flat and very long. So just always check out the rear view, which I think most of us do when we try on denim, is always check and see.
How do you fix that?
So a couple things.
I'm sorry, we just made a really quick right turn that I think a lot of women at this age want to hear. How do you fix the flat butt?
Oh my gosh, I know. And again, my clients, we talk about this a lot. So there's a couple things. What you don't
get padded
want,
underwear.
yeah. Well, yes,
Okay.
you can. The big thing is two things: the size of the pockets. Yes. So if you go high waisted, you want to have a bigger pocket because that it creates the illusion of a fuller bum. The other thing is, and I hope I do a good job explaining, there's the yoke. And that's the V seam that's underneath the waistband.
Right.
The deeper the yoke, the more voluminous your bum's going to look.
Huh. Okay,
Yes.
so you're going to ride lower.
Yes. Dramatic yoke. Yes.
A dramatic yoke, big pockets. You have no idea how differently I will be looking at jeans from here on out, Angela.
Right? No, but I think it's a common complaint with women our age. I know my butt. I used to think I had like an awesome butt, and now it's like, I mean,
Well, what happens to us?
It gravitated towards the front and into my stomach.
Yeah, exactly. It moved. I mean, can we at least say praise the Lord for stretch denim, which seems to be everywhere these days?
Yes. Lycra is the best. Lycra with the cotton, whatever, is the best invention ever. I mean, to your point, we used to have those jeans. They would stretch out by the end of the day and we'd have to like throw them in the dryer to get them back into sync. No, Lycra is a blessing. It's a blessing for all of us. Yeah.
And for your petite women, what jean length style do you recommend?
Yeah. So a lot of it goes back to body shape. And because we want to make sure that the leg shape is going to be flatter. So if you have a fuller bum, waist, and hip area, then those are the ones that are going to love the wider or the straight leg denim because it helps create that beautiful balance. So leg shape is all about body shape. So which one is going to look the best? I know there was the big thing, like, I don't know, some 12-year-old on TikTok said, skinny jeans are out and we all think those look, whatever. And of course, skinny jeans look amazing on short girls. So the majority of my clients, I would have to say, have like gravitated over to joggers because it gives you the same effect. Ends at the ankle, it fits, you're not trying to wad them up or get them hemmed or altered or anything like that. And it's still super flattering. When it comes to pants, and it can be denim, it can be dress pants, it can be anything, petites have to know their numbers. So you have to know what your ideal inseam is. And I have never had a client who's had more than a 32-inch inseam. So if you're looking online to shop, because that's where we're all shopping, if you're looking online to shop and it says it has a 35-inch inseam, don't do it. Don't do it. Just find a petite brand and all of that. And there's so many petite brands. We're so blessed. I think about it like my grandmother, she grew up in a really small town and she was short. And we just, in my family, we just keep getting shorter and shorter. But I think the only place that she had to shop, and this was 7 miles away, was a JCPenney's. Now, granted, this was 50 years ago. I mean, I don't even know if they had petite stuff back then. I don't know what she did. Like, I don't even know how she
did everything. Yeah. I mean, my mom was all of 5'3" and my Nana was 4'11". Everything got shopped and altered.
Yes. And you had to do it yourself because, there was no tailors in Kansas.
That's right.
Yes. So I just think we're so blessed. So when my clients are like, I hate to shop, it's so hard and all of that, I'm like, oh girl, we could have it a lot worse than what we do. So.
That's true. There's so much more out there. And I will say this to skinny jeans. I mean, I've held on to a couple of pairs because in winter, they're the only jeans that will fit in riding boots or knee-high boots, right? So they still do have a purpose, maybe just not worn like the way we used to wear them.
Yes. And I think, and again, it goes back to at our age, we're comfortable. So if skinny jeans, if you love them and they look amazing on you, then she's 12. Who cares what she thinks anyways? But
we're not following her anyway.
Right. I don't even remember what her name was starting.
There you go.
So if you love them, absolutely wear them. I do think it's fun though. And that's where it comes in, like getting dressed should be fun to like explore sometimes, because when we get into a rut and we own all of the same thing and all of that, then it just becomes like getting dressed in the morning isn't any fun because it's like my outfit today looks exactly like it did yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's great. And, and you're leading me to something that's really tricky and important to discuss. So there's capsule versus color, right?
yeah.
And a lot of women, and I find personally, I'm purging a lot of stuff that I no longer need and wear. But I'm also finding as I'm doing that, my closet's getting a little uniform in terms of color, and I'm purging some patterns and busyness and some bright things because I think, well, it doesn't have longevity, and now I don't want it to get boring. So how do you blend the two of not overdoing it, but still keeping, because anytime you wear color, have you noticed you get more compliments, more people say, wow, your skin tone, everything pops when you wear color. But we tend to gravitate to neutral because we think, oh, I'm wearing an oatmeal colored sweater. I can wear it with off-white. I can wear it with denim. I can wear it with black.
Yes.
Right? How do you
Yes.
bridge that gap?
Yeah, that's such a great question. Everybody feels differently about it. There are absolutely women who have a closet of one outfit pieces. This is the only thing that goes with these pants. And that's how they shop. That's how they shop. They find one piece that they absolutely love, and then they buy one top or one blouse or whatever to go with it, and that is their outfit. And anytime they wear it, they always wear the same. For some women, it's super important for them to have lots of mixing and matching options. When that happens, because of course, like part of my process is we talk about color, but we're not the color police. So once we know the colors that look great on you and that you love to wear, we try to keep 80% of the clothes in your closet in that range, because that will give you that, those mixing and matching opportunities for when you're running late and you just need to throw something on because you have to, whatever, go someplace. Then the other 20 can be those fun pieces that are either a seasonal color, like because we're going into fall, we're seeing a lot of deep red, like really rich bluish reds.
Yes.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. We're seeing tons of greens. Surprisingly, we're seeing a lot of light blues. And so whichever those really speaks to you, then add a couple of pieces that you can, like flare up the rest of the pieces in your closet. So
got it. But not
it's
every
when 80% of your closet is red and green that you're like, I got nothing.
Exactly. That's not working for me.
Right.
This has been so wonderful. So we've been talking fashion and how to embrace it here in midlife, and just approaching style and just getting some direction. I think a lot of women feel so lost. So Angela, when we come back, we're going to take another quick commercial break, but I just want you to help women. Let's just imagine, if you will, that we're going to get inside every woman listening and watching, and we're going to walk with her in her closet, and she's going to look at that closet and she's going to say, okay, where do I start? And we're going to tackle that.
Okay.
Back.
Okay.
Today's episode brought to you by Cure. Ladies, have you heard about this company? You know I love to buy my higher end handbags resale. I want to make sure they're in really good shape and they're good quality. And a big part of maintaining that is keeping the leather top notch. Well, I just discovered Cure. It is the ultimate solution for protecting and preserving my purse collection to make sure they stay beautiful and can last forever. I mean, think about it. We clean and maintain our shoes, our car, even our bodies. So why not give our luxury handbags the same care? These bags are an investment. And with Cure, you can help make them last a lifetime. Plus, if you ever decide to resell, Cure will help keep your bags in perfect condition so you can get top dollar. In today's world where overconsumption is a big issue, I think it's crucial to make things last as long as possible. And by taking care of our handbags with Cure, we can do just that. There's a limited supply available, so head to mycure.com to get your leather care kit today. That's mycure.com. The best way to make your handbags last forever. Ah, the beautiful smells of the season, pumpkin spice lattes, apples, coffee, cinnamon. We want to make sure we're not ruining the vibe with BO, and that's why I use Lumi. What I love about Lumi, you can use it everywhere. It is safe and effective for any part of the body. I love the Lumi deodorant cream and the wipes especially. I take those with me to work. They are formulated and powered by mandelic acid, so they stop odor before it starts. Think of it as a pre-deodorant. Also, it has effective sweat control as well. All of that up up to 72 hours. Lumi Starter Pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like the mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get 15% off all Lumi products with exclusive code. And if you combine the 15% off with the already discounted starter pack, that equals to over 40% off their starter pack. Use that code OVER50 for 15% off your first purchase at lumideodorant.com. That's code OVER50 at LUMEDEODORANT.com. Welcome back. We are talking one of my favorite subjects, and that's for me because it's such a creative outlet. I've always enjoyed fashion, and Angela Foster is with us, and she's got more than 20 years experience in the industry. And Angela, you help women in this area. You are a consultant. You work a lot with petite women. So the struggle is real in general for all of us, whether we're petite or not, or trying to figure out how to accentuate certain things, or even just knowing what to shop for. As we went into the commercial break, you were talking about seasonal trends, for instance. And I like to watch the trends like you do. So I've noticed, the berries are popular in the greens or powder blue. And women will see that. But you know what? Another woman can wear a berry color maybe better than I can. And I may be able to wear a baby blue better than she can. So, it's even figuring out what tones work with your skin tone. Right? And not just kind of falling victim to whatever the fashion police say, well, this, is what you need to be purchasing this season.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's such a good point. So I always want my clients to have fun when they get dressed. I mean, like that, when they say to me, I'm excited to get dressed when I get up in the morning now. That is like the best thing I hear. So I don't ever want them to feel limited. Absolutely. There are colors that are going to look better on you than they do on me. If I love brown or I see a chocolate pair of something in the store, that's not my most awesome color. And that's completely fine. I can still wear it. It's probably going to look best if I keep it away from my face. So if I love that rich, deep chocolate brown that's always popular in the fall, then look for a bottom. And this could be translated to any color, to your point, berries or greens or pastel blue, anything like that. Anything that you want to wear, you absolutely can do it. Just maybe not right next to your face. Or if you do, say, for example, pastel blue is another color that wouldn't look awesome on me. But if I fell in love with a blouse, what can I put over it that is in maybe a complementary color, a more flattering color for my skin tone that will still allow me to wear the blue and still look like it's a flattering ensemble?
Right. A lot of women say, and there's so many apps out there that can help with this because they can take pictures of you and analyze your skin tone, your hair, and your eyes, and help you determine if you're like a spring cool or a summer warm. Do you recommend that women go there first and get some help maybe? Or what are your thoughts on that?
Right. So I don't think it's the most important thing.
Okay.
So the most important thing I feel like is accentuating your favorite feature and knowing the styles and the silhouettes, because it doesn't matter. So for example, like floor length, really full maxi skirts look awful on me. So it wouldn't matter if it was in like a deep red that is one of my colors. It's still going to look awful on me. Like, you know what I mean? Okay. So worry about the shapes and the silhouettes first. Colors should come second.
Gotcha. Well, that makes perfect sense. Okay. As promised before the commercial break, we were going to stand in every woman's closet and we promised to help her, not just sit there and have that sort of glazed over look. Like, what have I done? Where do I start? What do I do? So when a woman invites you in to help her out, how do you assist in this area? Where do we begin?
Right. So that is the very last step that we go through. Going through that closet purge, that closet audit. And here's the reason why. So until you know the colors that look best, the styles that you like the best, the ones that are going to work with your lifestyle and all of that, then you don't know what you're purging. And you could purge something that you like, but we just haven't maybe paired it with the right top or bottom or whatever. So we wait to purge until the very end. What I will say is it gives me hives when people talk about, I'm going to take everything out of my closet, put it on my bed, and ask me if it makes me happy. You know where I'm going with that. Yeah. Like, Okay, so number one, I'm like, that's why we never get started, because it sounds like such a project. So instead, what I tell my clients to do is to pick one section. Do your shoes, do your pants, do your denim, do your whatever it is. Just pick one section and say, you know what? Every Saturday for the next month and a half, I'm going to do one section. It's going to take me less than an hour and I'll be good to go. You know, a month and a half from now, my closet is going to be amazing. So that's the first thing, not feeling like you have to do everything all at once. When you do pick your section, so let's just use shoes as an example. Number one, are they not comfortable? It doesn't matter how much you spend on a pair of shoes. If they make you want to cry by the end of the day, get rid of them. Like, there's no point. Yeah, get rid of them. If they look old or faded, or they're just not, on trend anymore, or you have 13 that look exactly the same, pick your favorite, get rid of the rest. The other thing is that we have such a hard time, especially when it's a high priced item. And if we don't feel like we've gotten the value out of it that coincides with the price that we paid. So we have a really hard time like getting rid of that. Because we're like, oh, we'll hold on to it. Maybe I'll wear it next year, whatever. So what I tell clients to do is don't throw everything into a box and go to Goodwill tomorrow, or, ship it off to ThredUp tomorrow. Like, go ahead, put it in a box or a bag, whether you think it's thrifting or whether it's donation or whatever, and then set a timer on your phone for 30 days.
Ah, clever.
And when the timer goes off in 30 days, I can almost 100% promise you'll have totally forgotten what's in that box or that bag or whatever else. You'll never have busted into it because there was that 13th black pencil skirt that you just had to have. You know what I mean? Like, right? We've totally forgotten. Right? We've totally forgotten about it. And that, once we realize that, then all of a sudden it's like, well, that was silly. Why am I holding on to it? So it just makes the getting, like, it goes from your closet to the closet in the guest bedroom or the basement or the attic or wherever, to your car, to the donation or to the thrifting place or whatever. And it's just so much less stressful that way.
Yeah, that's so good too. And it also paces yourself. So it doesn't seem like loss. I'm losing all of this. I'm losing a part of me, or it's not tied up. Sometimes women feel, oh my gosh, my identity is tied up in all of this, which is an unhealthy attachment to things anyway. But your pacing and your suggestion of doing that eases you in and gets you acclimated to change and to also feeling like you can breathe in your space, right? Because it's not just purging the stuff that you're not wearing, but you're also making room. You're allowing what you have room to breathe, to actually see what's in there.
Yes, absolutely. And there is nothing better than when you walk into your closet and you're like, you know what? I could really put on anything in here and it's going to fit and it's going to look great. Such a much different place than when you walk in and you're like, nope, too tight, too loose, makes my stomach look too big, makes my, and you're going through all this like, nope. Such a much different mentality and such a much different experience when you're getting dressed in the morning, when you could grab anything.
Right. What's your answer to women who maybe have weight fluctuations? And I know this is a toughie because, sometimes with hormonal changes or whatever, they've had to size up or they've lost some weight and they size down, but yet they hold on to the larger clothes just in case. How do you handle all of that? Because your closet can rapidly swell with multiple sizes.
Completely. And when you hold on to those sizes that don't fit any longer because for whatever reason, it's not a good spot to be in. And yes, because so many of my clients are short, it doesn't take a huge fluctuation. Like 5-10 pounds, all of a sudden, nothing fits. Right. So absolutely. Again, it goes back to, I don't want anybody to feel like cleaning out your closet is stressful. And I understand because I've been, I think, every weight between 106 and 150 in my adult years. So like I've gone all over the place. So I understand like the emotional thing that's tied into that. When you've gained weight and there's clothes in your closet that no longer fit, but you're convinced that you're going to fit into them again, that's completely fine. You don't have to get rid of them, but you also don't have to look at them every day. Right? Like they don't have to be in your main closet. You don't have to thumb through them and make yourself feel bad about it. On the flip side, I totally get it. When you think, ooh, I lost weight, but I know myself and I also don't want to commit that I'm going to stay this weight for the rest of forever. That's fine too. But again, they don't have to be in your main closet. You can move them to a guest bedroom. You can move them to a box in the attic and all of that, so that when you do walk in, you are only seeing clothes that fit you right now. Yes.
That's great. So
Absolutely.
we're working on this incrementally, and
Yes.
we're taking time, and we've tackled shoes. How do we tackle some of the bigger ticket items? And again,
Right.
you started with focus on your assets. So as
Mhm.
you're
Mhm.
kind of analyzing your body, how do you then go through and start making those tough decisions?
Yep, absolutely. So once we figure out what your favorite feature is, we know the styles and silhouettes that are going to work and the ones that might not be as flattering. It makes the whole process super easy. So if we're going through, let's just say skirts, and I know that I have a fuller waist, hip, and thigh area and with a smaller top, then that means I need to keep the lines that are cleaner, more tailored, and all of that. So then all of a sudden it makes sense when I see these like fuller maxi dresses, or I see these A-line skirts, or whatever the situation may be. I'm like, oh, that's why I never felt great in it, is because it's not the right style. So then that makes that whole situation of purging a whole lot easier. Now, a caveat here. And I tell my clients all the time, I know you're super excited right now. Like, you just want to go out and shop and shop and shop because you know exactly what you're looking for. On the flip side, we can't purge everything because you do have to get dressed in the morning. So like tomorrow morning, you're going to have to put on some clothes. So anything, there's that absolutely will never ever wear it again. I don't care. Okay, so those are the first things that you get rid of. Those ones that are like, it's not awesome, like it's not the most flattering black skirt that I could possibly have. It's okay. I'm going to hold on to it until I find the perfect one. Creating your ideal closet, it's not a race. It's not a race. And to replace a item with another item isn't helping us, right? So let's really make sure that we hold on to that one that we're like, oh my gosh, this is going to be amazing and this is perfect for me.
Help define a woman's ideal closet. What does that look like to you? I mean, where should we start with that?
Yes. Everybody's closet, everybody's goals with their closet are completely different. And so that's one of the things that we go through. Like, and I ask them, I'm like, how would you grade your closet right now on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 being, I hate everything. 10 being, I love everything. Where do you fall in that? And what would it take to get it to be a 10? And everyone answers different. Some of them are, you know what? I have great work clothes. I love what I wear to work. And I have nothing to wear to the kids' soccer game on Saturday or date night with my husband. I have nothing. That would make my closet a 10. Okay, that's great. That's what we're going to focus on first. Whatever the biggest gap is, whatever a woman is going to say, oh, now finally I have stuff to wear to work and I have stuff to wear out with my husband on Saturday night. And so, once they get to that point, that's perfect. So everybody's closet looks different. Also, with the whole hybrid workplace thing, it has really a couple of things. The first one is we used to have work clothes and we'd have weekend clothes or casual clothes. And then we have a couple cocktail dresses from whatever, like the random pieces. But now it's almost like we have more buckets. So we have work from home or virtual work. And then we have return to the office work, like, oh, I'm going to have to go into a meeting in the office and my boss is going to be there or whatever. You have that bucket. And then you have your weekend, and then you have your super casual, like leisure wear, comfy clothes to, like Netflix with. So we almost have more buckets now. And I think when we start to think of what are my personal buckets and where are the gaps and the spaces in that, and focus on filling those up first, it really takes a lot of pressure off. Because when we go into the closet, we're like, well, I just don't have anything to wear. Do you know what I mean? That's a big thing. Like, okay, well, where do we start? Well, that's, right. You know what I mean? What is the most critical spot, and fill that first.
Yeah, that's so good. And that also gives you a sense of, well, I'm not totally lost here. I mean, I do have something, maybe it's just certain voids that I'm trying to fill. Maybe it's a certain creative expression that I'm trying to fill. I'm seeing women in this stage of life and they're really having fun with their style, or they're so outside the box. I want my outside the box moment. I just don't know what that is. Right. How do you help women who are looking to fulfill that creative expression?
I love that. First of all, you have to be able to define your aspirational style. And that sounds different for every single client. Our goal is for her to pick 3 adjectives, and it can be anything from, and I give them a list to like get their juices flowing. But it could be edgy. I was thinking about the woman who went to Greece with you and had combat boots on. So like maybe an edgier look. Or somebody who's, very tailored and classic, and she doesn't pay much attention to trends. She doesn't really care. Or colorful, whatever that looks like. The one thing I'll say is when women first start doing this is they start really generic, right? Like, oh, I want to look professional, or I want to be comfortable. Like that doesn't really speak to what it is. Once they come up with their 3 words, then they start a Pinterest board for each of those 3 words and start pinning styles, because casual to you and casual to me is going to look very different. I mean, goodness knows, Texas and Florida have a very different opinion on what's casual, right?
Right.
Yeah. So when I'm helping her, I need to know, what does casual or whatever it is, minimalist, edgy, what does that look like to you? The thing that's beautiful is that once they pin 5 to 10, Pinterest, their algorithm is so brilliant. They will start funneling more things and more images and all of that until they really understand what you're looking for and what you're pinning. And then all of a sudden, your inbox is flooded with fantastic ideas. Then when the client and I go through the Pinterest board, we say, look at all, it is incredible. It's magical. When they go through, I'm like, what do you see? Oh my gosh, everything has a blazer. Every denim outfit has a blazer. Every outfit has a great belt. Whatever it is. But they realized that they did have a style all along. They just didn't recognize it, or they didn't see the picture, the image in their head. So
that's so good. Angela, I am so glad you mentioned Pinterest. I am Pinterest obsessed. Okay. On Pinterest. No, it's honestly, it is so helpful in curating, to your point, ideas, whether it's hair, makeup, style. I remember traveling to France one year, and I just kept typing in Parisian style. And the clothes that kept coming up, because I love how French women dress. There's such elegance, timeless beauty with pizzazz, with some fun, but there are like some, somewhat rules that they adhere to in a way. I don't even know if I call it rules. Maybe it's more of just a traditional French value, but it's incredible what you can curate on Pinterest and how it can spark such creativity in your head and then translate that to your closet.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's so great when women are like, I really didn't think I had a style, or I didn't know how to articulate what my style was. But then you think about it and you think, okay, so if I picked all these words and then I'm walking through Nordstrom and they have a severe black suit and it's on sale, and I normally would have bought it because it's 40% off and that's crazy. When you understand like, oh, that's not my style at all. Like I'm not severe or classic or black. Like I'm not any of those things. So then it makes it so much easier to walk away from.
That's so good. But to your point, you need to identify. So you're saying pick 3 words to identify your style. And that's where you are in the moment, right?
Yes. They can change. And oftentimes what clients will find is they picked a word when we first started working together. And then as we've refined it and really identified it and come up with the commonalities, they'll change it a little bit to make it more specific. But yes, absolutely. They can always change. Some of my clients change it quite a bit. And then some hold on to it for season after season after season, because that's where they're at in their life right now.
Got it. And I want to button it up with accessories, because I think accessories are often overlooked and yet such a critical part of fashion expression, whether it's jewelry, scarves, handbags. How do you help women in that area to not shy away from what can be so playful and fun?
Yes. So first of all, let's talk about what happens, right? So a lot of times we'll buy an outfit, we'll bring it home. We're like, oh my gosh, I don't have any earrings that go, or I don't have a necklace, or whatever the situation is. So then you go out and you buy one set of earrings to go with this outfit. And then you have a hodgepodge of stuff, but nothing that really necessarily speaks to you, or no consistency. So my clients and I, we pick out a signature accessory. And it can, to your point, it can be a scarf, it can be earrings. A lot of my clients who do both virtual and in-person work like to keep it from the bust and up. So earrings or necklaces, scarves, that type of thing, so that when they're virtual, they can have their signature accessory, and it really becomes known. They become known for that. So that's the first thing, is to pick. And if we can make it so that it accentuates their favorite feature, we love that even more. So pick one accessory and then say, okay, scarves are my accessory. That's my jam. So then you say, okay, so what am I missing? Where are the holes in my closet? What do I need in order to be able to up level every single outfit that I have? Because you and I both know nothing up levels an outfit with accessories. We've all had just so-so outfits, but boy, you pop on some accessories, a great pair of shoes, and all of a sudden you're the most stylish woman in the room. Sure. It's crazy. Yeah. And it's just so easy. And they're really, accessories more than anything else. So anybody who's on a budget, that's definitely something to focus on. Mm-hmm. You can just take a so-so moderately priced outfit, and with the right accessories, it can really make it look expensive too.
And you don't have to spend a lot of money on these things. I think that's so important as we kind of button this up. Angela, I could talk with you forever and ever about all things style, because it's so fun and joyful, and I love it so much. And I'm so grateful you're here. Before I let you go, I also want you to be able to share where people can find you.
Yes.
You said you've got a worksheet, but the moral of the story, and this is so much a part of what I talk about in terms of all of it, your whatever creative expression you are looking to do, whether it's changing your hair, changing your makeup, changing your wardrobe, you do not have to break the bank to get quality. No. You can shop resale. I've done numerous videos on repurposed clothing. There's so many treasures and gems that you can find there. There are many, many ways to do it, and do it affordably. So I want to encourage women, please don't think you got to break the bank. And if you have some, really, to your point earlier, if you have some high price shoes that you're sitting on, or a purse that you're not using, bring it to resale and make some money on it. It can bring in some revenue.
Yes, absolutely. And ThreadUp is my favorite just because it's easy. My clients like it too because it's easy and it's fast. But they'll send you a bag for free. You put whatever is in it. You drop it off at a FedEx place. They ship it back for free, and then you have credit there. And then this is one thing that a lot of clients don't realize, is that, say, for example, you are looking for a Diane von Furstenberg wrap dress. You can put an alert on, and then that way, anytime a new one comes up available in your size, it'll send you. So you don't have to spend hours on the app searching for things that look great on you. You'll get an email and you're like, oh, like it, don't like it, buy it, don't buy it, whatever. But then to your point, you have credit because you sent them stuff, and they're like helping you like really refine your closet.
Yeah, that's a great tip. And I think the other tip too, to help encourage women as they're going through and cleaning out their closets, to just remember, donate this stuff. Donate it to, there's so many worthwhile charities and organizations. There are women out there who can use your clothing. Things that you no longer need can be somebody else's treasure. So your process of making these changes and refining who you are, making more space, better defining it, you're helping another woman.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So, there are so many ways to look at this that I think are just really, really important to bring it full circle.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. I love that. What a beautiful note to end on.
Well, thank you. And I want you to share how people can find you so they can get all your information, your worksheets, and if they'd like to work with you directly where you are.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually have a special gift for your listeners. It's the body shape quiz. And it's super fast. It's like 6-7 questions, but then they'll be redirected to a personalized video according to their body shape. And they can go to angelafoster.co/Dominique. Okay. And then my website is angelastylecoach.com. And I like to hang out on LinkedIn.
Perfect. So we can find you in all those places. We'll put those links in the description so people can find you and click those links as well. We want to make it easy. But thank you for that offer and for helping my audience. And I've just loved this conversation. You're such a delight. You're full of life and love and energy and wanting to make this world a more beautiful place, one woman at a time. So Angela, my hat's off to you. If I were wearing a hat, I'd be tipping it.
Thank you. And thank you so much for having me. This was a fun conversation.
Likewise, it was a blast. Well, that was most fun. And I know as I continue to purge things in my closet, I will be focusing on shape and areas that I want to accentuate. And it might help me just pare it down even more. Stay tuned. There could be a YouTube video on that. Questions and comments, if you have any and you're watching on YouTube, we would love to see those. If you have any suggestions for future podcasts on Over 50 and Flourishing, you can leave those below as well. I always encourage you to subscribe again if you're watching on this channel. That way you will be notified every Monday at 1 o'clock when a podcast is released. And of course, every Thursday at 1 o'clock when I release a YouTube video. And of course, for those of you listening, wherever you listen to your podcast, can I just say thanks? I appreciate you so, so much. This community is growing, and I am ever so grateful for that. I always ask if you wouldn't mind to rate, review, subscribe, and share Over 50 and Flourishing with the women in your life that you know and you love. Angela and I were even talking about just how great it is for younger women to get looped into these conversations so they get a leg up. Midlife won't hit them like a smack in the face, like a big old surprise. So if you know a woman in her 30s and 40s and you feel she can benefit from this content, please share me with her as well. I appreciate you, and I cannot wait to see you next week. Have a good one.